control. This is absolutely insane. No exaggeration. This is worse than what we thought. This Diddy situation is worse than what we thought. I sat here, I watched this whole briefing, this press briefing that just took place. I'm sorry if I'm kind of slurring. I fell the other day. Well, I fainted in the bathroom. I hit my head on the sink. I had a concussion. I'm still kind of concussed, so I'm not drunk or nothing like that. I'm slightly concussed. But I watched this press briefing, and I could not believe my ears. I could not believe that this was actually the charges that they're bringing against Diddy, and specifically the details that they're presenting to the public. This whole case is about to get insane because the amount of people who are involved in this case is extensive. And I don't know. I don't think he's going to beat this one. I don't think a lot of people going to beat this case. They're talking about racketeering charges. They're talking about RICO charges. They're alleging that this is a criminal organization that was ran by Diddy. Let me play this video. I want you to listen closely to the details of what they're alleging happened. And check it out. Look, he's innocent until proven guilty. But when you listen to some of these charges, it's some heavy stuff. And it's some sick stuff. It's some perverted stuff. All right? Let's get to it. We're going to start with this press briefing. And then I want to read some of the official documents that they put out. I really want to unpack what took place and what's currently taking place, all right? So let's start with this one.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Damian Williams, and I'm the U.S. Attorney here in the Southern District of New York. Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines.
Specifically, male workers was the part that I found very interesting. Specifically, male workers.
Allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs, and that Combs hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims, at times by their hair. On one occasion in March of 2016, that conduct was captured on video and later reported in the media. Specifically, Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a victim in a Los Angeles hotel when the victim was attempting to flee.
So he's talking about the video of Cassie. If y'all remember, there was a video that came out of Cassie and Diddy. It looked like in a hotel hallway. I don't know if he rented out the entire floor because there was nobody on that floor from what it seemed like in the video besides the Diddy and Cassie. And yeah, he's literally dragging her by her hair, all type of wild stuff. So he's referring to the video of Diddy and Cassie.
As alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal. In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse. The indictment also alleges other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including violence against witnesses to his abuse, kidnapping, and arson. The indictment alleges that on more than one occasion, Combs carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses. Now, Combs did not do this all on his own. As I mentioned, Combs has been charged with RICO conspiracy. He used his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get his way.
A RICO case is crazy. I don't know the exact data in terms of how many individuals actually beat a RICO case, but I'm pretty sure it's less than 5%. Because y'all got to remember, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not anybody of any legal acumen or anything like that. I don't know anything. But if I'm not mistaken, wasn't the RICO charge originally created in order to prosecute the mob? Because when you talk about a RICO charge, you're talking about an extensive network of criminals operating together in order to advance the interests of the criminal organization. So this is a lot of moving parts. It's very intricate. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of individuals. So it's not just Diddy. Diddy is most likely the most high profile individual in this case, but I'm sure there's other high profile individuals who are probably going to be wrapped up into this RICO charge as well. And that's why I find it very interesting that they put a RICO charge on him. Because if you think about it, and this is just me just thinking, if you think about it from a RICO standpoint, they probably have a lot of witnesses or potential witnesses. A lot of people who would be willing to testify against Diddy. I think it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Because a lot of these individuals who are probably connected to this RICO charge, they don't have the same financial ability to fight this case in the same manner that Diddy does. They don't have access to hundreds of millions of dollars and the best lawyers possibly on this earth in order to fight this case. And I think they're going to recognize that very quickly. And I think they're going to comply with this investigation. And they're going to work very hard to testify against Diddy. This is just me thinking out loud. This is me thinking out loud. I could be wrong. But I'm very interested into knowing who else is associated with this RICO case. Because it's got to be a network of people. It's not just, a handful of people. There's got to be a network of people operating to make these things happen. But let's continue.
Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff. The indictment alleges that those individuals facilitated the freak-offs. They booked the hotel rooms and stocked them with the supplies, including drugs, baby oil, personal lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. When the hotel rooms got damaged, they helped clean it up. They arranged for victims and commercial sex workers to travel for the freak-offs, and they delivered large quantities of cash to Combs to pay for the commercial sex workers. The indictment also alleges that they helped Combs cover up his crimes. During the March 2016 incident at the LA hotel that I mentioned earlier, a member of the hotel security staff intervened, and Combs attempted to bribe the staff member with a stack of cash to make sure that what happened was kept quiet. And as the indictment alleges, in late 2023, after public allegations were made about Combs' crimes, he and others pressured witnesses and victims to stay silent, including by making phone calls to witnesses and victims and giving them a false narrative of what they had experienced. And as alleged, Combs used others to help conceal his abuse by monitoring and preventing victims from leaving a location in order to hide their injuries, or by locating and contacting a victim who had attempted to flee.
See, this is what I'm talking about. You have all of these people who are working for Diddy, right? You have all of these people who are stocking up the hotel rooms in anticipation for these freak-offs, right? They're stocking up the hotel rooms with supplies, with baby oil, with lube, with sheets and towels and all this type of stuff, right? And then after the freak-off, they're cleaning everything up. They're bribing the hotel employees in order to conceal what just took place. You have all these people who are on the ground who probably have a lot of information, who most likely have no actual authentic loyalty to Diddy whatsoever. I think this case is going to get very, very messy very, very quickly. Because the longer these individuals, these, ground workers, quote unquote, these people who are doing the dirty work, quote unquote, that sounds crazy, but you know what I mean? Like the day-to-day stuff, organizing stuff, planning flights for these men to come over to participate in these freak offs, planning transportation and meals and all this type of stuff. All these people who are on the ground making this network possible. What actual loyalty do you think they have to Diddy in a true, authentic way? Probably very little. And the more they withhold potential information that could aid and assist this investigation, the worse it's going to be for them and their own ability to defend themselves in this case. So I would not be surprised if we start seeing a bunch of information just flood out, because that's going to be these individuals' best chance at any potential freedom, at least for the next 10, 15 years, if not longer.
As part of this investigation, in March of this year, special agents from HSI executed search warrants at Combs' residences in Miami and Los Angeles. They also executed a warrant for Combs' electronic devices. During those searches, agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large-capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs, more than 1,000 bottles altogether.
Bro, that's crazy. I don't mean to get too gross, but I don't know if you heard what that man just said. He said they had 1,000 cases of lube in order to stock these hotel rooms for the freak-offs. This is some Sodom and Gomorrah type stuff. They into some Sodom and Gomorrah type stuff. This is crazy. And I think it really speaks to, it speaks to a lot of things. But one of the main things that's on my mind is how powerful lust actually is when you allow it to go unchecked in your life. When you allow lust to consume you, that sin, it just grows and grows and grows and grows. And when you have the amount of, listen, I understand he's innocent until proven guilty. I'm just speaking on the charges that are brought against him. When you have the amount of resources that Diddy has, he's supposed to be a billionaire, right? When you have these resources, these connections, the power that he has, that lust that's growing inside of you, that sin, it can open up the doors to some sick stuff. A 1,000 cases is crazy. Like, that should have been a red flag. I don't know where the people at Amazon delivering these cases, y'all should have knew something was up. When you seen the order come through for 1,000 cases of lube, y'all should have knew something was up from that point. This is wild.
Here are some of the items that we recovered during the searches.
So this is items that they recovered at the homes from Diddy. So you remember when they raided his houses and that was a whole big deal? These are some of the main items that they recovered.
As you can see here, this is a drum magazine, large capacity, and it contains, I believe, 59 rounds. I mentioned as well we recovered 3 AR-15s. This is a close-up shot of one of the AR-15.
Bro, that's crazy, dog. United States versus Sean Combs. Just be honest. Did you ever think you would see that? That is wild. That is wild.
And you can see right here, the serial number has been thoroughly defaced. Another picture of more ammunition and parts of 2 AR-15s right there. Now, I want to be clear about 2 things. First, This office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in sex trafficking, no matter how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be. No one should doubt our commitment on that. A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City. Today, he's been indicted and will face justice in the Southern District of New York.
Wow.
Second, we are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly.
This is what I was saying, bro. He said he encourages anyone with information about this case to come forward and to come forward quickly. I think we're going to see a lot of information start to flood. We're going to see a lot of things start to hit the media. I think we're going to see a lot of names start to get leaked. That's what I think. Because as I said, all of these people who are connected to this RICO case, they don't have the same ability to defend themselves like Diddy does. The longer they hold the information, the worse off it's going to be for them. That's why he said come forward and come forward quick so that you can help us in this investigation. Otherwise, you going down with them.
With information can call 1-877-4-HSI-TIP. I want to express my deep appreciation for the victims and witnesses who have used their voices and helped bring this criminal conduct to light. We would not be here without them. I also want to thank the dedicated case agents on the HSI Trafficking in Person Squad in New York. They have been with us since day one and have worked tirelessly on this investigation. They will continue to be invaluable partners to us.